In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some footage of the most recent protests that I attended for Palestine, some aftercare and self-care that I engaged with following, as well as some preparation for the protest. So if you were unable to attend a protest recently, I hope that you can send your energy towards this and to feel comforted by others speaking out for Palestine at this time.
Nearly 26,000 children have been killed or injured in Gaza in 6 months in a genocide that has decimated the health system. Those who survive stand little to no chance of receiving adequate medical treatment in a land that has been stripped of all essential services. And nearly all children in Gaza are at imminent risk of famine, a man-made famine with murderous intent.
It's the next day, and I wanted to create like an introduction to this video because otherwise it's just pieces of footage. And I'm just in this space, which you probably haven't seen all that much before. I know I've filmed like a reel or two here before, so yeah, it's a really like intimate space. I am in my beach clothes, ready to go to the beach with my kids, and you know, I'm really feeling very like slow today, but also just kind of the person I am. I have like a huge amount of things on my to-do list all the time, and I always want to feel productive, and so it's not exactly what I want for myself today, so I'm very mindful of that. So today I want to really process yesterday and all of the energy and all of the emotions. I was crying a lot throughout, and then when I got home as well, and in the morning. So it was a very emotional day, as I'm sure many of you who attend these marches and protests understand, and a lot of energy goes into it. And as it was, oh hello Coco, as it was in the morning, I felt like quite strong, but for a large part of the day we were standing still, and my back really started to become very painful. So today the chronic pain has just like woof gone up. And so yeah, I know I'm really trying to be really mindful of like what I need in this moment today. And yeah, always kind of just coming back to, you know, the wisdom that others have shared, that Sammy and Sabrin shared in the Q&A for Palestine on the Glitter channel, and the wisdom that Isha has shared as well about self-care and about burnout during activism, and about taking care of yourself and allowing yourself to process things like that, and also Kellyanne Maddox's recent video as well. So yeah, today it's gonna have to be something that I allow myself to just be in and just allow to unfold, I think. So I'm future Emily, but I wanted to introduce this video. Essentially, I wanted to do a little video diary, I guess, of attending a protest and a march, especially at such a tragic and horrendous point. We're 8 months in now, and you know, the signs that I am seeing via my feed I think are probably quite different to a lot of people's. I'm saying this because I do think that social media is an echo chamber somewhat, and I follow a lot of people on the ground and a lot of activists and charities to support Palestine. And I remember thinking on Saturday that there weren't that many people actually there, and people shopping, and it's such a contrast. But the signs that I'm getting, because obviously a lot more celebrities are speaking out now and people are being more vocal, is that more and more people are waking up to the truth, and people who were kind of on the fence before are understanding now that this is not about anti-Semitism, it's not about picking a side, it's not about that at all. It's about what is going on right now, and that not being justifiable in any way, shape or form, and that Israel is a terrorist state. That's the choice that they have made, and we have a choice that we make as human beings every single day, whether or not we are going to allow this to continue. Sammy and Sabrin's video, very clearly, they state that from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free is about the right for all people to be able to exist, and that is the fight, and that is what we will continue to do. And it's for other countries as well, of course, Sudan, Yemen, Congo. There are these horrendous atrocities happening all the time, and I am no expert, and I've said that over and over again, and I don't think I ever will be. I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I'm trying to learn about the history. I'm trying to educate myself. I'm listening to Palestinians and historians. I'm listening to people on the ground, reporters. I am making sure that I'm getting accurate sources, and I know that I have more learning to do and more decolonizing to do as well for myself. But I have to admit that I have privilege, and I have to use my voice for good, because I'm really struggling on a day-to-day basis to exist in a world where this stuff is happening and it's just allowed to happen. So I just want to share some footage. I told my family that I was going to be attending the march, and because it's the half term, my kids decided they wanted to make posters. So on Friday we made posters together. I have some footage of that. So I'm just going to share with you some of that and some of the things that were shared within the march as well. The Exeter University is still complicit, so a Palestinian student spoke up about that. So for my reasons for recording and sharing this aspect of my life at present is because it's so important and ongoing, and I, to be honest, have, as many people have been talking about as well, going through this kind of nothing else feels important. It's easy to sort of slip into that kind of fatalist sort of attitude. If I'm screaming and crying, then I have to get up and I have to go do something. So I have to sign another petition. I have to find something else that I can do, someone else that I can support or reach out in some way. So that's what I try to do every time, and push myself to really fight harder. After yesterday, now I know that I need to take a little bit of a breather, especially because life is really challenging for me personally right now, and I'm sure that for a lot of people it is as well. I wanted to share this footage so that people who are unable to attend marches for whatever reason, physical, mental, whatever those constraints are, I wanted you to know that you are so valuable, that your voice is so valuable and needed, and I want to share this so that you are there, that can be part of an experience for you, because I think that your voice is nonetheless valuable. It's so valuable, and being able to sign petitions, raise awareness, boycott different companies, and speak out against any organisations that are arming Israel, supporting it, writing to your local MPs and politicians, writing to government, doing everything you can, like I know that so many of you are. And it's just, I wanted to be able to share something that I am able to do, or was able to do yesterday. That is really why, because I wanted you to feel like you can be part of it and to put your energy into that as well, because your voice is really powerful and it's needed. And just also as a support, because I feel supported and seen and held when I hear and see others talking about this, when I find it really hard to sit down and film and start talking about something witchcraft related or occult related or tarot related when this is happening. And it's perfectly reasonable for other creators to continue to create what they create. Like it's not that it's wrong to do that, it's just like from my personal experience, like I'm finding it really hard because I want to talk about this. I just want to throw all my energy into this, and I know that I also can't do that. I can't throw all of my energy into it. I have a lot going on personally and a lot at stake personally, and so I need to preserve that. But this is in some small way something. And if it just gets one more person to sign one more petition, or if it gets one more person to donate to medical aid for Palestine, if it gets one more person to watch Sammy and Sabrin's video to educate themselves a little bit more, it's something. I saw some faces of some young teenage boys and families, and it was incredible to see. I saw some mums who had small children who stopped, and they were clearly invested emotionally as well, and one of them started crying, and I could see that she was being hit just like I have. And I don't just want to sit here and cry. It's not like, oh, feel sorry for me. It's just the emotion comes up. But there's so much importance in taking care of ourselves. And, I am definitely not doing that right all the time, but I'm trying to just be mindful day to day. And now I feel like I've seen such a lot. I've seen more than I ever thought I would see of you know, Kellyanne spoke to this really beautifully in her last video, and Kellyanne has so many fantastic tools and resources to share about like how to take care of yourself. So I would highly recommend that you go and watch that. And of course, like, I'm sure all of you already follow Kellyanne, but like, it's all about like, how to support yourself and the tools that you have in order to protect yourself when you're seeing these things, because it is devastating. You know, I'm grappling with it. I have 2 kids. My daughter has just turned 9 and she's on the pathway to be assessed for ASD, and we've been on this journey for about 3 years now and she's still not been assessed, but I think everyone understands that she and my son is neurotypical, so that we are aware, although I hate that terminology, but you know, we struggle with his behaviour as well, like kids in general, and we're trying to educate them in the best way that we can. I don't want to share lots of horrible graphic details with them, but they know. My son knows what happened in Rafah, he knows about the tents, and they ask really thoughtful, mindful questions. You know, I feel as a mum that I struggle to look at my kids without thinking about the children and babies who have been martyred, the children and babies who've been orphaned. There was a young boy, can't remember his name now, but a young boy who earlier for a while was reporting, I think he was maybe 8. So some of you might remember his name. He was reporting from Gaza and he wanted to be a journalist. I saw a post the other day that I think led me to believe that I think he's potentially been killed. Seeing those things, understanding the numbers, something like 21,000 children have been killed or injured. Something like 16 or 17,000 orphaned, 15,000 murdered. I mean, my brain is just... I know as well, like a lot of people who I'm surrounded by are like, Emily, don't watch this. Like, you know, my husband says that, friends say that. They say, don't look at it, don't look too much, you know, you've got to take care of yourself. I know you really care about this. Like, but there are reasons for looking at it. But like Kellyanne and Anya Esma have, you know, so beautifully and eloquently spoken to, it's not like a prerequisite to look at horrific images and things that are going to haunt you and upset you to be an activist. It's not. You have to protect yourself. You really, really do. And I think I was so interested to hear what Kellyanne said about this, about witnessing, but then not rewatching. I mean, there are things that I have rewatched because they've come back up on my feed. I mean, when I went through a phase of like everything on my feed was horrific and it was just coming up, and I already have my apps on timers so I don't look at them too much, but like they were coming up anyway and I was having to see them, and then I didn't want to hide them because I didn't want to repress them in the algorithm, and you're seeing them. I mean, essentially, I think what Kellyanne said was good. I mean, if you feel that you can handle to see them, then if they come up again, you just scroll past. And if you can comment, then that's great, because especially if it's a Palestinian on the ground, you know, who's trying to get their account out there and seen, if they're trying to get their account out there and seen, if you can comment and help boost the post, that's great. My family are about to go to the beach now. I need to go. I am going to take a book with me and my journal, I think. I'm just going to have some time at the beach because it's what I need. Hi, Gabe.
Hello.
What have you done?
I've made a Help Palestine poster.
That's really good. Are you going to try and come with me tomorrow? Maybe.
Whoa!
Yeah. We've been talking about it, haven't we?
Yes.
What do you think about what's happening in Palestine?
There's people that are being bombed. Well, there's mummies and daddies who are very sad about their children dying.
Yeah, and there are children who have lost their mummies and daddies, aren't
And
they?
they have been gone trying to find food, and the mummies and daddies have, and and when they come back, the children has been all bombed.
I mean, it's awful. I mean, you've done really well here.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing a poster. It's really sweet.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Free, free, free Palestine. 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 We won't be silenced. Stop the bombing now, 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 now. We are the people. We won't be silenced. Stop the bombing now, now, now. We are the people. We won't be silenced. Stop the bombing now, 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 now. We are the people. We won't be silenced. Stop the bombing now, 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 now. Palestine! Palestine! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! Occupation no more! Israel is a terror state! Occupation no more! Israel is a terror state! Palestine! 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 Occupation no more! Israel is a terror state! Occupation no more! Israel is a terror state! Palestine! 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 How many kids have you killed today? How many kids have you killed today? Palestine! 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 Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! Palestine! 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 Occupation no more! Israel is a terrorist state! Palestine! 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 Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! Palestine! Palestine! Up with liberation! Up with liberation! Up with liberation! Palestine!
By smoke. I was talking with Mahmoud, so the rubble went into my mouth and the rocks fell on my back. Then my father came and took us. My mother went to get her clothes from under the bed and all the rubble fell on her. 7 months ago, children comprised 47% of the population of Gaza. Nearly 26,000 children had been killed or injured in Gaza in 6 months in a genocide that has decimated the health system. Those who survive stand little to no chance of receiving adequate medical treatment in a land that has been stripped of all essential services. And nearly all children in Gaza are at imminent risk of famine, a man-made famine with murderous intent. In years past, we've witnessed the silence of the world. We've witnessed how authorities have silenced dissent and restricted protests. And we've seen soaring numbers of arrests and administrative detention orders used to punish Palestinian activists. Palestinian children are held without charge for years on end. Small children have had years of their childhood wasted behind bars. Nowhere is safe for children in Gaza. If they haven't been killed, they've been maimed. If they haven't been maimed, they've been starved. If they haven't been starved, they've been detained. If they haven't been detained, they've been beaten. The list of atrocities goes on. Outside of Palestine, the tide is turning, but it's never enough. The irony that Palestinians are restricted from raising their own flag in Palestine, while the entire world has been raising the Palestinian flag across the globe, has not gone unnoticed. The world stands with Gaza. Today, Rafah isn't just burning, it's being razed to the ground with the genocidal intent of wiping out Palestinians. There is no other explanation for what we are witnessing today. Israeli authorities are growing ruthless in their attempts to crush all opposition to the apartheid state. And that ruthlessness no longer differentiates between a baby and a force of resistance. Just 2 days after the ICJ ordered Israel to halt its operations in Gaza, Israel targeted a deadly strike on a refugee camp in Rafah, a so-called safe zone. Air raids on Sunday triggered a deadly fire that engulfed tents in a camp for displaced Palestinians. Time and time again, we have witnessed people being told to move to safe areas only to be targeted by the onslaught of bombs. Today in Gaza, we see the pillar of resistance. We see the backbone of resistance. I have never come across a population so steadfast in faith, while standing and staring back at death disguised in various forms. But the unwavering faith of an entire population does not clear us of our moral duty to stand on the right side of justice. While Rafah burns, protesters here in the UK and indeed across the globe are facing unprecedented pressure to yield to authority. We have seen countless university students across the length and breadth of the nation and beyond stand up in solidarity with Palestinians and dedicated themselves to the cause of Palestinian liberation, holding their universities accountable for their complicity in the genocide of Gaza and the genocide of the West Bank. The University of Exeter remains complicit in genocide, while the university seems to believe that their racist past and murderous past racist present and murderous past can be covered up by changing their logo. Their lies are more palpable than ever. The university cannot preach sustainability, equality, diversity, and student welfare while arming Israel. They cannot contribute to the massive CO2 emissions from Israel's bombings and promise green futures. You cannot silence pro-Palestine students and promote social justice. And you most definitely cannot talk about health with the blood of Palestinian civilians on their hands. The students' demands of the University of Exeter are to divest from and cut ties with all military, defence and security companies and partnerships directly involved in and benefiting from the occupation, the oppression and the genocide in Palestine and elsewhere. The students demand a boycott of all Israeli universities and research partnership programs, including the University of Tel Aviv. They demand to support Palestinian education by offering at least one scholarship in each department for students and scholars from Gaza, and also establishing partnerships with Palestinian universities to collaborate on rebuilding education in the Gaza Strip. They demand safeguarding the protection of academic freedom and freedom of speech for all students, staff and allies engaging in supporting Palestine. I'd like to finish with a few announcements and two very short poems. Firstly, just to say that today we've got a safe space to light candles in reflection and in remembrance of the beautiful souls that have perished in this genocide. I would also like to encourage everyone to write their personal messages of hope, solidarity and resistance against the occupation towards the people of Palestine at the table that's on my left. We have the Wednesday vigil taking place at 5 to 5:30. The vigil is a commemoration of not just the lives that have been lost in this cycle of violence, but all the lives that have been lost whilst under occupation. Secondly, there won't be a protest next week here at Bedford Square. We will be at the Respect Festival in Belmont Park for both Saturday 8th and Sunday 9th of June. Finally, I'd like to leave you with two very short poems. They are harrowing poems written by the Gazan poet Musa Abu Taha and his dear friend Refat Al-Arir, who was killed by an Israeli airstrike on December the 7th, 2023. But before reciting the poems, I'd like to say a few words about these two storytellers. Abu Taha honored his friend Refat Al-Arir by sharing memories of their friendship, such as picking strawberries together and playing jokes on him on campus. In an interview, he was asked to speak about his friend's significance and how he died. Musab responded by saying first that his friend's death was not unique, and that at the time of the interview, Refat's body was still under the rubble. He also shared the following. He said, "I'd like to remember Refat as somebody who was always ready to listen to our literary works. He liked to read some of Shakespeare's sonnets of John Donne's poems. He was a huge fan of John Donne. I would like to remember Rifat as someone who loved to go to strawberry farms and pick strawberries with me and play pun games. Rifat is someone who didn't want to die. Rifat wanted to tell the stories of ordinary Gazans so that ordinary people around the world can appreciate the everyday struggle of Palestinian people, their justice, their quest for justice, and their hope for a better future, free and liberated from occupation. And this is the last poem shared by Rifat. If I must die. If I must die, you must live. To tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings. Make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze, and who bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite, you made flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope, let it bring a tale. The following is one of Musab Abu Taha's poems, which he recently shared on X, previously Twitter. Can we take rest? Maybe die for a few months or years, and wake up when the poem is complete, when the flowers in our garden start to grow, their scent luring the sparrows into visiting our house that's now a small forest of rubble.
Hi everyone, I'm here as a student at the University of Exeter and as a Palestinian from Gaza. So we've been protesting on a weekly basis since the start of the massacre at the university, and they have never heard our voices, and they've never responded to us or came to us to have any kind of discussions. So we decided to join over 150 universities all over the world in camping for the sake of boycotting, divesting from the state of Israel, because it's a criminal and secular colonialist entity, and it can't be supported by universities that claim to be in support of equality, justice, and freedom. So we've been in camping for a while, and apparently the university is giving us kind of cold shoulder, but we are continuing to encamp, and we've got a set of very clear demands that the university is aware of, but they are, they have decided to ignore us again. Our demands are to divest from and cut all ties with the Israeli occupation, boycott the Israeli universities and academic institutions because they are complicit and they are criminals, and they are taking part in the genocide taking place in Gaza and Palestine as a whole. And we are asking the university to support Palestinian students and Palestinian academics, give at least one scholarship per department for Palestinians from Gaza, and safeguard academics and academic freedom at the university, as well as the freedom of speech. So that's it. I have a very short message from Gaza. The people of Gaza, the people of Palestine, say to you that we, as Palestinians, will continue to resist as long as colonization continues to exist. We're going to stop as soon as it stops. Thank you so much.
My darling's face is sad. The moon's face in our homeland is sad. Sad you are, my city. You, a spring of tears and a long, sad history. You are the painting of pain and expressions of pain. Your eyes have the green colour of olives and the blue colours of the sea, while the night falls over the face of our life. Darling, wipe out that sadness and wear the dress of the impossible from the tears. Thank you for being here. The books are for sale in chimpanzee on the store if you want them. Thank you. Thank you.
We've had huge demonstrations, and across the country we've stood against the government and the media that have tried to justify, tried to bully people into acquiescence, into not taking a stand, saying that our activists are violent, saying that we doing this are anti-Semitic. As we know, there have been unprecedented levels and numbers of Jewish people who've spoken out against what Israel is doing. Some of them are here today. And people also say, what's it got to do with Britain? It's got everything to do with Britain. The whole history of how it all came about in the first place, the history of Balfour in 1917. Even today, Britain continues to sell weapons. There were spy missions. When the bombs were hitting Rafah last week, there was a British spy plane overhead. There were Israeli soldiers in Britain now being trained. We need your support, and we continue to need your support. And it can sound like first world problems, but it is tiring. But we need to keep going, and we need to keep going and campaigning for the sake of the people in Gaza and in Palestine, in the West Bank. And even with a ceasefire, that won't mean justice for the Palestinians if a ceasefire does come about. So a couple of events going forward. Next week is in Exeter, it's the Respect Festival. We're going to have a big stall there. We might have an event here, we're not sure. If we do it, it'll be a very small stall. But please do come along to the Exeter Respect Festival in Belmont Park. On the 15th of June, the following week, we're going to start our event a little bit later at 1 o'clock. And please look out for social media. So finally, some thanks. First of all, we from Exeter PSC would like to thank everybody who's come from Totnes and who's been involved in organising this for a fantastic support that you have given us. The second thing I think we need to do and take cognizance of is what Naima said, which is the university students have been absolutely fantastic. They have been having their encampment for the last 3 weeks. They've spent the last 2 days putting over their point of view at the open days. And if people haven't seen their social media, they really should do. These leaflets here on Instagram and on Twitter, they've had a fantastic impact in the last couple of days, the open days. They're very welcome people going to visit them. There's a whole series of meetings. They're having meetings every day. So if you haven't been up to the university, do go up there. It is a really good thing to do. And finally, thank you very much indeed for yourselves for turning up and standing strong and standing with the people of Palestine. Thank you very much indeed.
I just wanted to show you the sign. This is just the one I did, and it's actually my old sign, which was like an old photo frame that broke, so I used the wooden bit inside photo frame. And then the kids, these are the kids posters. So you saw Gabriel doing this one, and then Rosalie did this one. She wanted to write her own thing, and so yeah, I think it was really sweet that he wanted to do it, and it didn't in the end want to come, so I just decided to glue them on so that there would be both sets of messages, and I just turn them around every so often. But yeah, it was really nice to have them listen. And so I was pottering. Basically, it's been the half term, so my kids have been at home, and yesterday when we made these, I was talking to the kids and I was listening to Kellyanne Maddox's video while I was prepping some food, and they actually started to ask some really thoughtful questions, and I've been talking to them about it since October, you know, sharing things with them, but not, you know, too much of a graphic extent because they're still only 6 and 9. My daughter just turned 9, but like I think they definitely understood what I was telling them. And then I know as they grow older, you know, they'll have more questions, and they'll be able to study the history as well. Yeah, I am low on energy now because it's the end of the day, and it was actually her idea. I didn't ask her to do this. It was her idea to do a poster because I said I was going to be doing one, and so she wanted to do one, and then Gabriel wanted to do one too, so it was just really sweet and I just went with it. So I'm going to say that that was kind of a peak, a real highlight, and a really beautiful blessing from a tough week, I'm going to be honest. Personally, a really tough week for me, and obviously a brutal week for Palestine, and we're not going to stop. We are not going to stop until Palestine is free.
I just want to rest from running.
You want to rest for a minute? It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, we forgot that same glasses and my phone. Out and about.
Troublemakers.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Grizzly. You're hiding. Okay. Maybe not with your teeth, babe. Is that open now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I decided to do a tarot and oracle reading, and I used the Tarot of the Mermaids, which is an old favourite, with the artwork of Mauro de Luca, and I recently picked this deck up by Rebecca Campbell, the Healing Waters Oracle. I also have the Rose Oracle as well of hers, and I'm really loving these at the moment, finding them super supportive, and just noticing some of the synchronicities coming out in the cards with the Selkie as well as the pearl and the imagery from the Knave of Pentacles. This has a lot of meaning for me, and I'm keeping this spread out at home as well, and just checking in with it. Ask myself what I need in order to take care of myself, my mind, body, spirit, energetically. And this is to do with the activism that I'm engaging with, as well as personal life and things going on for me currently in my life. So this was a really supportive practice, especially to engage with at the ocean. So I also journaled a little bit while I was there. Hello!
Hello.
Hi, did you have fun?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was very good.
So Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that this landed for you and has been supportive in some way. I am sending you strength, support, and I hope that you can continue to speak out for Palestine and to raise awareness and to do whatever it is that you can do. Your voice is powerful, your voice is important and valuable, and we must just keep fighting. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you stay well and safe, and I look forward to seeing you again in another video really soon. Take care. Many blessings. Bye.